Cool. I think we'll get started. So, welcome everyone to the pitch call of Hala. Pretty interesting EV mobility startup, led by a great team, with Shrikant being the founder and CEO who is here with us. So, without further ado, Shrikant, I've made you the co-host, so I'll allow you to take over and talk to us about Hala.
Thanks, Rohan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining on a Saturday morning, and it's great to connect with every one of you. I quickly will go ahead and start sharing my screen. Uh, Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's visible.
fantastic. Good morning, everyone. I am Shrikant. I am founder CEO of Hala Mobility. Hala Mobility is a mobility aggregator and an EV lifecycle management platform. Today, if you look at it, we are all transitioning towards electric vehicles, but we do have a lot of problems. And for these problems, there is no one such comprehensive solution that is available in India. And for this, when we were trying to build solutions around in 2018, we were too early. We tried to build a long haul journey for ourselves, trying to stay longer in this journey, trying to build solutions around every piece of the mobility segment so that the transition becomes easier. If you look at it today, 95% of the customers to face challenges moving towards electric vehicles. One of the major chain of moving the electric vehicle penetration is the fleet operators, but they still face a challenge and they are able to maintain only 60% uptime for their electric vehicles. Why is that happening and how is that happening? How can we solve their problem is something that we're trying to address through Hala Mobility. If you look at it, people generally look at the range, charge, price, performance, but the deeper problems are still there. In terms of understanding what vehicles works where, how the charging infrastructure has to be deployed, how do I get a secondary value for the fleet that I'm deploying on the ground, and understand the battery, get the residual values. Trying to understand everything about the fleet so that they can extract more from the operation that they do, right? And what we're trying to see today is only 5% of the EVs are penetrated into the market. And at least fleet operators are spending 55% of their gross margins on just these operations. How do we optimize that? And that's where we came into picture. That's where Hala builds up platform stacks like Hala, Circle OS, and Levin. Hala is a leasing, finance, and subscription wing of Hala Mobility. Circle OS is a technological wing which builds the IoT, the software solution, and the platform which gives access to all these batteries, scooters, and chargers. Plus, Levin is the refurbishment unit. Levin in Dutch means afterlife and recycling, or rebirth of a battery pack. So that's how we try to build an end-to-end solution where the partners like OEMs, fleet owners, battery as service operators, financiers can take full utilization of the end-to-end system that you've built and provide it to the end customer who is a rider, where finance leasing options can go through, insurance options, find the charging, battery swapping through a single application, not having juggling around multiple different applications in the system that are available. And today we offer our leasing subscription plans through our Hala Mobility application, where we aggregate different fleets, generate demand, and help them get the targeted marketing done. At the same time, there's a lot of data that we generate that helps the charging point operators and service providers to take efficient, smarter decisions in deploying their fleet. So below that is the Circle OS stack that we have built in-house that ensures the fleet is operated right. They get the deeper insights about the vehicles, in terms of the behavior, in terms of the ride patterns, in terms of the distribution, in terms of the demand, and also get the predictive analytics about their battery, scooters, so that they maintain the vehicles up and running. And we have built this whole tech stack or whole platform as such to ensure the transition towards EV goes smoother, with a vision to build connected, comprehensive, communicated system available for end users, at the same time with the values pertaining to social, environmental, economical impact, and creating the 3C framework, which is cost, comfort, and convenience for our end customer. If you look at it, a retail customer, which is a B2C customer who hops onto Hala's system, will be able to find the right vehicle for his use case. During the journey, he can get the access to his charge service swapping network. And once he gives back the vehicle to the nearest hub, he'll then be given with a pop-up saying that, hey, why don't you just lease out the vehicles which you own over a period of time? And we then connect it to the financial institution. And during his journey of 12, 24, 36 months with a financial institution, we understand the right pattern for him and understand the usage pattern for him. We can offer him a buyback opportunity through the 11 product that we already have built, which can give him at least 40% buyback value for his battery for the scooter. And this is all possible through the Hala Mobility's application, where we try to understand everything and try to guide him towards a eco driving mode, understanding him to access the network through the application stack itself. And when a B2B customer hops onto our solution, which is more of a third-party logistic, fleet operator, or a delivery company, we onboard everything, all their fleet, battery, scooter, charging, everything together, so that they really don't need to worry about anything else, but rather concentrate on their core operations. And then they're further deployed to the delivery partner or end consumer of them. They manage, monitor, get the service ticketing, maintenance is done, and they are also informed about the decisions that they can take. This is all possible again through the digital twin platform that is called Circle OS, which is in the backend. And that gives a deeper understanding about how the vehicles are performing, where the vehicles are performing, how the batteries are degrading, how do we ensure each of this unit life can be extended to the digital twin system. And today we are able to offer solutions in two ways, which is one, fleet as a service. The other one is the last mile delivery piece. In last mile delivery, we don't manage people. We don't do any ordering as such. We do provide it to the third party logistics solution providers, where a fleet driver, access to service, roadside assistance, everything is given to a third party logistics solution provider. As for the fleet, we take care of complete operational know-how for that particular fleet to run on the ground. Further, this revenue streams can be extended into offering a platform as a service, which we are aiming to go global at this point of a time. In terms of the impact, we have moved more than 31 million kilometers to date. And, in terms of petrol consumption and CO2 emissions, we have done reduce tons of CO2 emissions. We are almost doing 72,000 battery swaps a month, serving more than 20,000 plus customers and serving around 34 plus B2B partnerships. And in terms of our partnerships, we do segregate into two ways. One is the demand center and the other one is supply side. Demand, it comes from, is created for the OEMs, battery service guys, CPOs, financiers, and insurers. And on that side, we try to build a supply for the players like e-commerce, last mile mobility, e-commerce, hyperlocal, and quick commerce delivery companies. So we have also been part of a lot of community activities in terms of educating about electric vehicles, in terms of understanding about how this penetration is going to be fruitful. We are proud to be featured on the ZF. We have been helping IIIT Hyderabad in doing their research with the 92 million kilometers information that we have, and we are also incubated at T-Hub and Maruti Suzuki. Recently, we have also been granted with a grant coming from the Mercedes-Benz to develop our IoT tech stack that we are doing in-house. And in terms of the awards, we have been in the limelight for the last 3 years and 3 months period, where we have been recognized as top 11 sustainable startups of Telangana. We got an opportunity to showcase ourselves at Dubai. We have also been exposed in the City Tech Tokyo 2023. We are also got an opportunity to showcase ourselves at Cyprus. A lot of such activities happen in terms of recognizing what efforts that we're trying to build in the ecosystem. We have been always in the limelight through the organic reach, where ARD1 during the G20 summit has featured us. And at the same time, if you look at where we are going today, Indian two-wheeler market is growing in terms of we are expecting almost 25 million annual sales of two-wheelers. Today, the penetration is just 5%, but by 2030, our aim or the vision outlook out there is to convert that into 80%. We are targeting an industry which is almost at $145 billion market, which is one connected EV ecosystem. The other one is more on the leasing, financing, and subscription side of it, where the people mindset is completely changing towards not owning but to experience. That's the target area where we're looking at, and this area is average growing at 25% CAGR year-on-year basis. And if you look at the way we are positioned ourselves, is we are not a micro mobility provider, we are not a third-party logistic provider, but we are a platform, we are an ecosystem builder that combines the force of fleet as a service, battery as a service, data, and software as a service together, right? With the competitive edge that we have here is in terms of providing the lesser cost of delivery, increasing their utilization, and assured uptime for the fleet that is running through the tech stack that we have built, and cutting down their churn rate. That makes us, create an edge in the system. If you look at any of the providers, we may be looking like a competitor of ours, but in fact, we are a ecosystem builder by ourselves. And in terms of our numbers, we are growing almost 300% year-on-year basis. In the first year of operations, we have clocked 1.2 crores. Second year, it was around 2.6 crores. This year, we are aiming to close at 9.3 crores, which we are already on the mark. In terms of the investment, we as founders, we have infused 2.2 crores of fund. We have got a seed fund of another 6.6 crores of investment. Overall, with a $1 million, we have been able to achieve penetration into 3 cities, building our own tech stack, building being super organic in the market, and giving a contribution of 40% EBITDA last financial year. This year it should be anywhere around 30-32%. Now we are going through a bridge down, which comes at a $1 million investment, and this comes at a 100 crore valuation, and this will be giving us a space where we can increase our monthly revenue rates to 2.5 crores month-on-month basis, growing at least 30% month-on-month basis, and also commercialize the Circle OS 11 product to the manufacturers and the financial institutions and the battery as service. Further, we have been in conversations for the Series A fundraise, and there's a great interest. And post this is where the Series A is planned for. And if you look at the whole journey, we started primarily as a fleet operator and third-party logistic provider. When in 2018, our whole idea was how do we bring the entire ecosystem into one umbrella? But then it was too early for us to get into the market. But then instead of waiting for the customer, we wanted to create the customer base by ourselves by deploying the fleet, understanding the know-how on the ground, right? And further, we slowly moved into aggregation tech stack, where we now partnered with Log9, Battery Smart, Race Energy, some of the leading players in the industry, and moving from a capital intensive to a low capital, and from an asset intensive to a low asset platform, right? And now we are on a edge to make mobility more gamified, understanding, helping, educating the drivers to use this data that we got organically, again, ethically, in terms of helping them understand how their electric vehicle can perform, where they can go, and how they can utilize it in a better way. Today, our presence is in Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Vizag, Guntur, and we are intending to restart our services in Mumbai, Pune, and start our first operations in Bangalore and Chennai. And we have also started our one global pilot in Cyprus, which is in Limassol, understanding about the nitty-gritties there. It is completely on a franchise model, where the local owners would take the ownership of the fleet, and we just give them the technology solution for that. And post Series A fund, we are intending to go live in all these 7 cities with a major fleet. And within the next 24 to 36 months, our aim is to deploy almost 25,000 vehicles through the platform and be connected on the ecosystem. And the team behind this, we are intending to have some amazing advisory board coming from the Gogoros of the world, the Amags of the world, Worldwide Mobility, and Mercedes-Benz and Maruti, who have been advising us in the background all this while. We want to bring them on board. And Mercedes-Benz recently has given us the grant in terms of the advanced technology that we are building. Maruti Suzuki has incubated us in building the micro-mobility solution for their campus. If you look at it, the way Maruti Suzuki is approaching today is the Car2Go's approach, right? Car2Go, which is a Daimler's property, they started up their solution primarily within their campus, offering it to their people. Then finally today, they are everywhere across Europe, giving the first premier car sharing service. And that's where Maruti Suzuki's aim is coming, where we are building solutions to them. And we have been graduated from T-Hub, from the Lab 32 flagship program, and through T-Angels, where we picked up our first checks of investment. Coming to the team, myself, Srikanth, I hold a PhD degree in the Urban Shared Mobility Helsinki chapter. Prior to this, I was part of Worldwide Mobility, where I was a chief data architect. I was building technology for Uber, Car2Go, Daimler, Hispano Suiza. And in 2018 is where I felt I have to move back to India, try to target the market here, solve a bigger problem that can be better, that can fetch more impact in the community than just solving the solutions there in Europe. And after that, I partnered with 2 of my co-founders, Mr. Anand and Snehit. Snehit was my manager when I was working at Facebook. He comes with a varied experience, comes from the operations strategy piece of it. And Anand is my childhood friend who comes from a family business oriented guy, but has a great understanding about B2B, B2C side of it. We have 2 co-founders, 2 advisors at this point of a time, Mr. GVR and Mr. Natarajan, and who comes with a wealth of knowledge in the finance sector, because this whole game of Hala as a or as a fleet leasing or subscription, it comes with a strength of knowledge that needs a financial know-how as well. And that's where our advisors are helping us at this point of a time. And investors come from Magnific, Sarfin, and Funny Raminini, who is an individual who invested through his entity called Maxwell. That's a little bit of a journey we have gone through in this 3 years and 3 months of time. And right now, I'm really happy to answer any of your questions.
Cool. Thanks, Shrikant, for the wonderful pitch. I think pretty solid current advisory board as well as the team with your past experience and expertise in the domain. So cool. We are now open for questions, guys. So you can either ask in the chat or if you want to connect, you want to unmute and ask, do raise your hand on Zoom and we'll allow you to unmute. So Prashant is saying, what is your vision for 5 years?
So thanks for that question, Prashant. If you look at the way we are positioning ourselves, we are building a comprehensive solution for the mobility segment, right? Where the birth of the vehicle to the death of the vehicle, which is the recycling refurbishment, before the recycling refurbishment phase starts, that's where we want to be positioned ourselves and to build an end-to-end solution in the next 5 years period, where we go hit the first belts of IPO as well. That's a target that I'm aiming to, and be a leader in the mobility segment.
Got it. So Divakar has raised his hand. Divakar, just 1 minute, allow me to unmute. Yeah, you can unmute Divakar.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I just have, a fairly long question. So number one is around the Circle OS, right? So what is the future for it? Would it become the ecosystem around which um your hardware, software, and services would eventually kind of converge, right? That is number one. And number two, in terms of you reference to the pilot locations actually. So there should be some sort of private public partnership there, right? So can you throw some light around how those models are evolving?
Sure. So Divakar, is a question done or like should I wait?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Nice. So Divakar, if you look at it, you have in fact picturized it right. So the whole thing of Hala 11 and in between is a Circle OS, which forms as a stream, right? Everything converges back to Circle OS, where the Circle OS plays a crucial role in terms of the hardware, the software, at the same time servicing piece of the mobility wing that we are doing through Hala and the 11. 11 is primarily more on how to repurpose the batteries. That again, data comes from the Circle OS piece. And in terms of leasing subscription, how the entirety of this fleet can run comes from the Circle OS bit. That's how where we see as convergence goes to Circle OS, and Circle OS is where we are going to commercialize to the end customer. Circle OS is Hala's proprietary product, trademark, copyrighted at this point of a time, wordmark also. And right now we are in the process of understanding or getting the framework patented for the way we are doing for Circle OS, right? On how each of these microservices are handled, how all of these, the IoT is talking to the system, how each of this data point is, able to extract at a very low latency using the multidimensional databases. So there is a lot of things that are happening at Circle OS. That's the innovation that we have created. And in terms of the pilot projects, today we have partnership with our core base is set up in Hyderabad because I'm a core believer that mobility is a local game and people who are locally associated will be winning the game most, right? The way I'm performing here in Hyderabad will not be able to do it other way. So I always try to identify the local players out there, whoever are stronger, whoever will be able to add a lot of value to the platform itself and try to bring them. Today, if you look at the way we are positioning in Hyderabad, is we have connected with all of the major IT hubs here. Majority of the last mile connectivity pieces, the L&T metro rails of the Hyderabad with the government entities here. The similar way is where we want to do it in other cities as well. But we have only spread out a little fleet out because again, as I go back to the first statement, I believe in as a local player would do better. But then before that, I want to understand the demographics, distribution, demand, utilization, people behavior, everything. So the smaller pockets of fleet was distributed there and to understand them. If you look at Mumbai and Pune, before we start, now we are restarting the service. We have ran it for 2 years with almost 250 vehicles there, understanding how the distribution is usages, how the terrains are, what kind of vehicles will fit in. And today we have a great understanding about which vehicle to fit in which segment, right? In North Mumbai, what do we put in South Bombay, what do we put, and where the big baskets of the world are, where the Swiggies of the world are, how the network is created, and how the charging point operators are. So that is something we are learning, and post that, our deployment and making it easier for anyone who is coming as a franchise owner or someone who is owning the fleet would be able to generate more monies from the fleet that they're deploying, at the same time helping them make, utilize more from the fleet. Did
Okay,
I
got it.
answer the question, Diwakar?
Yes, just one follow-up question on the Circle OS part, actually. So, would you be considering, or is it something within your product strategy plans for Circle OS to be part of, let's say, an OEM ecosystem, let's say a Ford or a Mercedes, or or any major OEM? The reason why I'm asking is I know all of them are actually venturing into the space, and my understanding, you can correct me, is that you have some portions of the software which they are actually building, so there is an opportunity to do licensing play here. Is that a right understanding?
Yes, Divakar. In fact, if you look at the way it is going, the reason why Mercedes or Maruti is interested or helping us out to build the solutions is also that they are having a similar way in terms of some of the modules that we're trying to build is what their products are also trying to build, right? So that's where they are trying to utilize the solutions that we have already built, trying to validate it on the ground. And the solution that we've built is not just built for only one vertical; it is a multimodal solution. It works for two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, trucks, buses, cars, anything, and even the energy storage system or battery storage systems or the solar paneling system tomorrow, if we have to extend the portfolio, right? So the bigger picture is how do we ensure that any of these energy pieces can be connected into the Circle OS piece. So the long shot or the bigger vision is to be accommodating with these bigger OEMs also, but at this point of a time, trying to concentrate more on the low-hanging fruits of two-wheeler, three-wheeler OEMs.
Okay, got it. Right. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks,
So
Diwakar.
Nihar had one question here, if I'm not
We
wrong.
have a lot of questions in the chat. I'll just go over them and then like I'll project them to you. So Nihar is saying, if I'm not wrong, you are the kind of Zomato, Swiggy for EV industry. You do not have your own vehicles, right?
Absolutely, Nihar. We are just an aggregator. We do not have our own vehicles. Yes, initial 220 vehicles are our own, where we brought in the first stage, but then later on, none of the vehicles are ours.
It's good to be asset light in today's world. Cool. And they are partnering with all the EVs, right? So which is
We are partnering with all the leasing partners, like say now Log9 is one of them. For the battery side, we have the Race Energy, Battery Smart, Adiabatic, Amo Energy, Electrics who are coming in. And through Electrics is another partner who is giving us the vehicles that can be deployed on the platform. And there are HNI, some of the companies who want to own the fleet on their books, and they are leasing it through our platform, where they're able to get certain minimum revenues through our solution itself.
cool. I will park the next question for now, where Manoj is saying, can you go through the first three slides? So I'm sharing the pitch deck in the chat. I've also shared the Hala's intent link, where you can also see more details about Hala, the invest link where the deal is live. So you can go through that, Manoj. We'll quickly cover a brief summary again towards the end. Going ahead, there are uh, Magaram is asking, Circles OS is owned by Hala, the investee entity of this round, or it's owned by separate entity?
Uh, Circle OS is a proprietary product of Hala. In fact, we are trying to build a group of products, right? There is a need of restructuring in terms of how we position ourselves. Is it like a different entity? Because technology has got a different growth curve, and the leasing subscription entity would have a different growth curve. Right now, we just the Circle OS and the 11 are OPCs, which is owned by me 100% at this point of a time. And Hala was the entity which was funded previously through the investors. And now we are trying to be that three of them are under the same hood. We are absolutely okay to take inputs, trying to learn on how to position ourselves as a grouped entity.
Got it. So I'll combine the next two questions by Prashant and Pawan. So what is the burn this year till date?
So average, we were burning, overall two crores in this financial year, 23 to 24 financial year. But then from 32 lakhs of burn in the month of December, we have come down to almost 14 lakhs now, and we are aiming to break even operationally by August this financial year, which is 24-25.
Got it.
Because there is a lot of deployment of funds going towards deployment of the products, shipping of the new features and going into the different demographics. That's where the capacity was built.
So yeah, just a request, like we have the thank you slide rather in the background. It was suggested by Swadeep that if we can keep the ask slide and the previous round slide open in the background, that will help the folks. Yeah, this is the revenue and previous round and current round, which is the bridge round, which is being done, and then series A is the already being planned where they have soft commits. So yeah, this is the details about the revenue and ask. Cool. Going ahead, Simran is saying who are the current competitors and what stage are they at?
Sure. So if you look at the individual components of 11, like Hala, Circle, and 11, Hala as a leasing entity or subscription, there are 54 such entities in India. At least if you look at the in terms of fleet, in terms of NPS and everything, Hala stands at 7th position in India with the current fleet and the NPSs that I mentioned. And for the Circle OSPs, there are certain R&D companies that are working on battery predictive analytics or such. There are 5 companies globally, 2 backed by the YC. One is based out of the Korea and one of them based out of India. In India, it is more of a R&D center in terms of designing and in terms of development, but not on more on the predictive analytics piece. So we are another 6th player in the market for the Circle OS solution. And for the 11, we are at least the 3rd one in India who are trying to repurpose the battery packs. And the proof of concept that we could develop is we have repurposed 4 tons of wastage battery packs. With a 40 lakh investment, we could almost create a value of almost 1.6 crore worth of assets.
So the next question is by Abhijit. What is your EBITDA for last year and projection for 2024 financial year and 25 financial year?
We last year our EBITDA contribution was around 42%. Our net loss was around 27 lakhs. Our depreciation was around 1.04 crores. This year it's going to be, the net loss is going to be around 1 crore odd, and the depreciation is going to be around 1.5 to 1.75 crores. And in terms of the next financial year, as we are aiming to scale up these numbers, we will be able to achieve the break-even points by the financial year 24-25.
Got it. So Adarsh is the next question. Can you explain what do you do with some examples? What are the revenue split from different revenue sources?
Sure. If you look at the way the Hala is positioned, there are 3 revenue streams, which is B2B, B2C, and third-party logistics. B2B gives a 40% contribution towards revenue. 3PL gives a 40% contribution towards revenue. B2C gives me 20% contribution. B2B, the way it is positioned is there is a partnership with all these category A companies like Zomato, Swiggy, Zepto, BigBasket, Flipkarts of the world, and they give the guarantees for the fleet. They deploy it to the end riders through the API integrations that you're given through the platform stack, and they'll be able to deploy it to their end riders, right? And for the third-party logistics, there are third-party logistic companies which are tied up under the BigBasket, Amazon, Flipkarts. They will take the fleet from us. They'll also try to take the help of people hiring from us. And because this third-party logistics, what you've learned is they are a smaller entities. They really don't have financial discipline. What we try to do is we route the revenues through us, deduct the amounts that we have, which is kind of an escrow settlement, and then they take back the rest of the amounts. We deduct the monies first, and later on, is the B2C segment is where an end customer would come to one of our hubs, picks the vehicles that are there at the facility, prepays the security deposit, prepays the rental for it, and takes the vehicle back, and he'll be able to use it through the application stack. For Circle OS, all this while, whatever Hala was doing in terms of vehicle management, vehicle servicing, vehicle predictive analytics, it is a proof of concept that we've done with our own fleet of 2,275 numbers spread across these 4 cities. And now we're trying to commercialize this over, in this financial year of 24-25. And 11 as such is the same product where we go back to all these battery manufacturers, battery service guys, or fleet operators, where their batteries today are almost dead. If you look at it, every fleet operator, one of the biggest player in the segment today, Zip Electric, has almost 5,000 to 6,000 battery packs that are just lying there, which could not be done any which ways, right? And the same goes with Spoo EV, Buddy, Quick Up Logistics, Green Mobility. There are many players who have dead battery packs, what we try to do is instead of them going to recycling piece and giving it at 80 rupees per kilo basis, what we try to do is we extract the value from it in terms of saying that your voltage is this, your AH is this, we segregate it, and we try to repurpose the battery pack if it is needed, else we fix the battery pack and give it. So there is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and 4 bifurcation in the 11 product. So through Hala, it is leasing given to B2B, B2C, 3PL. And through Circleovers, it is a technological solution for all this fleet. And through Levin, trying to give a comprehensive solution for the repurposement of the batteries that will happen. So that's like the end-to-end chain of the Hala as a body. Hope I answered your query, Adarsha.
Yeah, feel free to write again in the chat or raise your hand, Adarsh, if you want to clarify anything. Next question is by Sam. Can you throw some light on your financials? So I think it's in the background on the screen and we covered it a couple of times. Shubham Deep is saying next 5 years revenue projections, and can you give some light on the gross margin and financials?
Sure. In the next 5 years, if you look at it, just this financial year of 24-25, we are aiming at 27 crores of revenue. And in the next coming 5 years, it's going to be anywhere around almost 102 million USD in terms of the revenue that we are projecting. That will majorly would come from the Circleovers and the 11Ps that will contributing a lot in these projections. And if you look at the current gross margins, we are working at almost 46% gross margin. Majority of the chunk is going towards the companies that have leased out the vehicles to us. And from this 46%, we are left with 12% net at a unit level. And rest of the component would go towards the people, places, infra, insurance, technology, maintenance, and everything, all the other aspects, so that the asset can be extended well. I can share this deck with you. There is a clear case, bifurcation about how the models work. What is the revenue split like? What is that we are going to make? What is that the garage model is going to make? And how the projections are going to work. So I can share this information post this call as well.
Sure, that would be great. Going on to the next question by Prashant. Out of 2,500 vehicles right now, how many are pertaining to your company?
So 2,220 vehicles were initially purchased by us with the investments that were made as founders investment. And later on, we have leased out the vehicles to different entities. After a period of 2 years and 3 years, the fleet was essentially moved back to Hala because at a almost 100% depreciated product. By August this year, I think we should be getting back anywhere around 900 to 1,000 odd vehicles that the leasing period has been done by the financial or leasing entity, and then now those vehicles will be through us. Those are like completely depreciated asset, but they still have a life that can be extended further, and which we can give it out rentals through the platform itself. Though the plan, Shubham, the plan is not to just concentrate on the last mile segment, but one of the key role that's going to play in the next 5 years of period is the last mile segment, right? Last mile mobility or last mile delivery or the e-commerce, quick commerce, these are penetrating deeper into the markets. And this is like a low hanging fruit for us to, instead of spend monies on the marketing and, try to burn money there. There is a huge market available with a very less spend, and that amounts of marketing we want to utilize in the operational side of it, so that the customer happiness and customer success would happen parallelly. So but our essential target is to go into the last mile consumer, the customer who is going on a daily commute, people who are new implants in the city, and within the intra campus mobility, like the biggest campuses like Raheja, Phoenix, biggest universities. That is where we are targeting. These are the 4 areas that we'll target in the coming years, but not restricting to one segment. Right now, given the demand, given the fleet that we have, given the inputs of vehicles that are coming in, we are only restricting to the specific segment because demand is more and the supply is way less.
For next question is by Arjun, Ankit. Please give details about your past rounds, valuations, time, instrument, and your current cap table.
Sure.
Past round amounts are showing up here, like founders investment and seed. But yeah, like maybe the valuation and instrument and current cap table are the follow-on from.
Yeah. Seed fund came through a group of individuals where This came through three entities on board, which is Magnific Securities, Maxwin, and Sarfin. These are the three entities who combined group of individuals, HNIs together and brought in. Seed fund is bifurcated into two rounds, which is pre-seed and seed. Pre-seed came at 54 crores valuation in March 2022. And in March 2023, we have picked up another 3 crores, which concludes the seed round. And this came at 72 crores pre-money valuation. And now the $1 million is going through, which is coming at 100 crore valuation. At this point of a time, 78% of the equity is with the founders, me, Snehit, and Anand. 4% is with my advisors. 2% is with my employees who are there from the beginning, and rest of them is there with the investors.
Shubham's next question is how the investors coming in this round will get the exit.
Right. So we can agree upon few things like as this coming as a bridge, we can have a set exit clause that can be pre-planned earlier itself. If no, we can take an exit in the coming rounds where we're going through the Series B round, Series A rounds moving forward, or as this is just the beginning of the electric mobility in the country and you see the results that are here, we would want you to stay longer in this journey and reap the fruits at the longer when we go hit the bells.
So what's your average estimate that when do you plan to do Series B if someone would want to exit?
So
B and Series B plus types.
honestly, there is no concrete number as such at this point of a
We are
time.
aiming like 3 to 4 years or something like 5
Yeah,
years.
Series A, we are aiming to close within this year, which is 24-25 financial year. We should be aiming for a closure. But for the Series B or Series B plus, we should be aiming at next 3 to 4 years time.
We have a question by Debajit. Can you share your 5-year projected business plan? I mean, with projected monetary numbers. Also, what do you think are the key risks going forward?
Absolutely. The same document which is presented here has got all the information. We'll be sharing it right after this call, along with the risk, along with the scope that we have. Everything will be shared.
Got it. Kiran's question is, Bajaj is launching CNG two-wheelers. Would you be looking forward to include them in your fleet?
At this point of a time, I am looking a step ahead from electric and electric mobility only. At this point of a time, that can be lithium-ion, LFP, LMFP, and LTO technologies, but we will only move upside, but again, not coming back to the CNGs or the other segment, Kiran.
Next question is by Prasanna. How do you envisage the future of your business post hydrogen fuel vehicles?
Sure. Hydrogen fuel vehicles will beautifully work, but again, it cannot be restricted to a two-wheeler at this point of a time, given the restrictions in the real estate itself, right? So today we are not able to fit in a CTO technology, so LTO technology into the two-wheeler space because the amount of energy density that this LTOs would hold is lesser. And so hydrogen fuel is beautiful, but it would work beautiful for segments like four-wheeler, trucks, buses as such, but not merely for three-wheelers. Right now, it is still under the development phase, so I would not comment much, but hydrogen fuel is still going to be playing a crucial role in this growth part of a journey. Again, they still need BMSs, they still need maintenances, they still need to know which the cell wood is actually having a problem, which cannon is actually having a problem. So that all can be understood through the solution stack that we have. I don't see that as a threat, but it's more about addition of a new technology stack into it.
Got it. Next question is by Pankaj. What is the moat?
We look at two. We look at and we created two modes here. One of them is the customer satisfaction, which is how happy is the customer using the product through the other services through us, the customer stickiness onto platform. Then the data and the operational efficiencies are the mode that we have created by ourselves. With 92 million kilometers information that you drove, we have an understanding about how we perform, which vehicle, which location, which usage, what kind of a segment we could create that mode, and that is the advantage that we could create from the competition that is there.
Got it. Next, just going up a bit. Selva Singh, I have few questions. Selva, so if you want to unmute, just raise your hand or you want to type it in the chat, like as per your wish. Debajit is saying by risk, I'm interested in the legal, regulatory, and liability risks and what steps you are taking to mitigate them.
Sure. Thanks for that question, Devajit. In terms of legalities, the beauty here is we are making the products more legal, regulated on the ground, right? Today, if you look at it, 95% of the electric vehicles that are running in Indian market are illegal to run on the road because they tamper the speeds, tamper the vehicle performance itself. We are trying to legalize that in terms of restricting the speed and giving which vehicle is being used to which driver partner. So legalities wise, we are cooperating with the legal entities in terms of how to drive better battery packs, safer battery packs, foolproof battery packs, at the same time having a right vehicle on the ground rather than not a illegal vehicle on the ground. So that way, legal and regulatory aspects we are through. In terms of the liabilities risk, yes, though we are through the platform, we are able to generate demand and utilization for this particular fleet. But at that point of a time, we still have anything that happens on the ground will be first, the point of contact would be us. We are trying to bring in the elements of the insurances, elements of other support on the ground, but there is still a lot of learning curve that we have to go through, to be honest. But at every step we are trying to be proactive. Every learning that we have, we are trying to incorporate along with the leasing entities, along with the finance entities, insurances, government authorities. So we do have regular conversations on how do we ensure that Hala is not the entity that's going to take the complete risk, but the risk sharing mechanism is happening. Just like how we participated with the World Bank SIDBI's risk sharing mechanism in terms of financing piece of it. So the same way it goes with the legalities aspects as well.
Got it. Prashant is saying, please justify the valuation of raising funds at 100 crores.
Sure. So the previous round, the first round that came was at a 54 crore valuation. After that, given we have grew almost 300%, we have picked it up at 72 crore valuation only. And after raising that fund, we have grew almost 175% times. But then, we are now valuing it 100 crores only. It is just because the round that you're picking up is not through a VC firm, not through the private equity firms at this point of a time. It is coming through the individuals HNI. So we wanted to give that discount interest and then make them comfortable at the valuation that we are asking for, because the entry point has to be sweeter for anyone rather than just trying to make valuation only as a thing, right? So down the lane, however, we have already planned Series A, Series B rounds where we will be able to make the bigger tickets there. At this point of a time, given the revenues, given the partnerships, given the market entries that we have made, given the new products that we have developed, that's where we have come to a justified amount of 100 crore valuation.
Got it. Next question is by Debajit. Have you copyrighted or patented any intellectual property yet?
Yeah, in terms of the hardware, there is nothing as such we can patent it, Debajit, honestly, because the components that we use are not unique. They are generic components, right? Like say the GPUs, like say the Arduinos, like say the GNSS, GPSs, or SIM modules. Everything is simple, but then what we try to do is how to make it super simple for the utility perspective, right? And make it more lightweight on the ground. I am a core believer of today's generation. The servers have to take the lot of computation rather than having a computer on the ground and doing every calculation. That would incur a lot of cost. So we try to create that broker, trying to be a little smarter in terms of cutting down the cost on the ground for the end customer. So that cannot be patented because it is not a discovery or invention. It is a but obvious product only. But what we're trying to do right now, which we're working with our legal entities, is to get the patent for the framework that we have utilized to get the data, process it, how it is actually getting, the extraction, transformation, loadings are happening, where the data is stored, how is it being accessed, and how quickly is it being done. This is something we are trying to do in terms of the framework side. In terms of others, we just have the trademarks, copyrights, word marks only. Yeah.
Got it. Next question is by Digant. Who are the financing partners if I, as a customer, want to lease a vehicle? And what is the minimum amount that I have to shell out for using one of the vehicles?
For leasing of a vehicle, you can lease out as minimal as a 1 week tenure with us, no questions asked period, where you just pay a security deposit of 1,500 and rent out the vehicle for 1,500 per week basis, where everything related to vehicle, roadside maintenance, assurance, swapping, everything is taken care of in this particular period. And if you have to finance the vehicles, we have recently got partnered with Perpetuity Capital, Hala Mobility, Monedo, many such other entities where we'll be connecting you with this financing entity in the background, and all the underwriting will be done, with the information that we take with this particular financing entity and give it to you. You will be paying a minimum of 10 to 15% of down payment or the security deposits, and then the vehicle will be handed over to you. This depends upon a lot of criteria that the financial entity will bring into picture. It can be civils, it can be financial strengths of the person, and there are certain entities that are also betting on the just the earning capabilities. Like in, there are third party logistics where we give the vehicles to. We know how much money is or each of the delivery partner is earning, and their rating, their behavior, their the tenuity that they're staying on the particular product. So we take that historical information, give it to the financial institution. Even in those edge cases, there have been instances where a financial institution has funded these people.
Got it. Got it. Next is an interesting question by Swadeep, who understands the space well. So, Fine Mobility, Alt Mobility, Be Live, and a few others have all raised between 25 to 50 crores and have also gained significant traction, 2x to 3x of the number of your vehicles. So, what's your right to win?
Absolutely. So what Fin Mobility, Alt Mobility, BeLive are trying to do here is they haven't seen the taste of operations, things that go on the ground in terms of setting up the hubs, in terms of setting up the network, in terms of setting up what actually problems the fleet goes on the ground. Alt Mobility, Fin Mobility, they are trying to do the finance piece of it, giving the leasing of the vehicles at any given point of a time. I'm just getting the monies back. I'm not looking at the operations. Or even though the agreement says operational lease, I am no more concerned about operational. It's a finance lease that they're trying to give. And if you look at the BeLive has set up the physical brick and mortar store to first start with the sales of vehicles, but not the core. Now they're transitioning into bringing a franchise, bringing in the vehicles on board. Although after raising 25 to 50 crores, they have seen a number of 2x to 3x traction. But what my point here is, at the same level, we have got a investment of 8.8 crores, and we could bring in a significant traction. And if the amount of funds like 25 to 30 crores, 50 crores have been infused, we could have done almost 6x times or 7x times than what other players are doing. That's the edge that we have today, and the confidence about the solutions that we have built. In fact, Alt and us were from the same cohort when we were with NSRCell, and we know the way closely have been working with them in the same way the BeLive also, in terms of how we can collaborate and build the solutions for it. But then knowing the on-ground things is also something really important, because both of us come from the similar backgrounds.
Sure, sure. Next question is by Adarsh. Do you have a JV for battery recycling tech?
Yes. Right now, we are in conversations with Loham for the recycling piece. Adasha, thank you for putting that forward. Today, everyone is looking at, buying and recycling, and then there is a in-between role where you can repurpose the battery packs, right? So repurposing is what we are trying to do at this point of a time, and try to give this out to the recycling piece. Loham, there are a couple of other companies that are based out of Mumbai and Coimbatore. We are right now in active conversation in terms of how do we give this black masses, wastage, and all this materials to the recycling entities, because whenever the refurbishment happens, we do have a lot of wastage that comes out, and we are actively seeking at the JVs with them.
Got it. Next question by Prashant. I think I'll take it. So he's asking that now in Series A you are demanding 10x. So Prashant, they're raising their bridge round right now, and Series A is the next planned round. So the higher the amount of raise for Series A, the higher the valuation, the more beneficial it is for investors currently investing. So it's the bridge round which is being raised at 100 CR valuation right now, not the Series A. That is the next planned round for which they have soft commitments already. Cool. Next question is by Magaram. Page 25 of deck, I think we are on that page, shows revenue and profit trend. Green bar seems to suggest that there is monthly profit. Is that correct?
No, Magaram, it is the revenue shown in INR and USD because we have been actively involved in conversations with the global investors as well. So we had to show that in the USD piece only. It's the total revenues only 4.6 crores, 9.2 crores, which equates to 1.1 million USD.
Got it. Next question is by Swadeep. Shrikant, I may have a couple of EV OEMs who may be interested in talking potential collab. We'll ask Rohan to connect us offline. Sure, Swadeep, I will do that post
Thank you,
as well.
Swadeep. Looking forward.
Adarsh is saying, who all are investing in the bridge round? Any previous investor investing, and how much was the previous investment, their previous investment? And then what is your KPI mandate for Series A? Interesting bunch of questions.
Right. So, Adarsha, right now for the bridge round, Rohan is taking care of the investment side of it. Like he's one point of contact for us for this particular piece. Previously, we had Maxwin, Magnific, and Sarfin who came through the seed fund stage. For the bridge, we are still in active conversations. We have got certain soft commitments, but nothing on paper yet, right? People are evaluating us. And in terms of the KPI for the Series A is we should be present in 7 different cities. I should have a one uh, uh, global global city that is launched. It can be anywhere in the Middle East, anywhere in the European regions. That for which we have started the Cyprus entry in Limassol city through the people who started Bolt in that particular country, right? And at the same time, this is on the Hala side, but on the Circle OS side, we also want to have minimum of 10,000 devices pointed to my server. It can be coming through the OEMs and the battery as service guys, and for which we are actively in conversations with certain manufacturers. These are the three metric that we have for the Series A round to go through. In fact, I would not say the metric, but the milestones that we were given to achieve before we come for a Series A round.
Sure. Next question is by Digant, which I'll take. What is the minimum ticket size for investment? So Digant, via our syndicate, minimum is 2 lakhs. And for direct cap table, minimum was 75 lakhs, but exclusively for our syndicate, it is 40 lakhs. So yeah, 40 lakhs for direct cap table, 2 lakh via the fund. Prashant, whether you are looking at electric car mobility as well in future.
Yes, Prashant. So we are building a multimodal mobility platform. Right now, we have two-wheelers and three-wheelers and e-bicycles on the platform. Over a period of time, we also intend to go into car mobility, where we are, where we're targeting to partner with GMR's airports of the world, to start as a pilot with. So the aim is there with the car mobility as well. And if you look at it, the way the trucking industry is, once the mobility segment, electric mobility segment itself matures, we are happy to extend ourselves into the trucks and buses partnership as well. Today, we are talking to Switch, we are talking to Electra as well. Because with the investment of 1/20th of the battery cost, if you're able to increase the capacity of 25% of battery life, then that's a win for so the bus manufacturer, truck manufacturer. That's where they are very much interested in coming to circular solution.
I think we'll also take up few questions of folks who wanted to unmute and ask. So first we'll take Selva. Selva, you can please ask your questions.
Good morning. Thanks much opportunity and congratulations, Shrikant. This is a need of the hour. This will help more adoption in the marketplace. My first question is: do you have a city-wise breakup with respect to deployment that will give us more insights? So you said you have deployed around 2,500 vehicles. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So do you have a breakup which talks about? I understand the focus is more on the metro, right? So do you have a breakup which talks about how many vehicles you deployed in each city?
Yep. We do have the breakup per city, Selva. I'll be maybe after this call again. I'll be sharing you that information as well. Right now, just to highlight in the call itself, it would be in Hyderabad. We have anywhere around 1,452 vehicles to be precise as we speak, and then we have certain 58 to 62 vehicles in Vijayawada. In Vizag, there are around 49 to 80 odd vehicles in Vizag. There are few 20-30 vehicles in Guntur. Rest of them are again going through the repurposement stage, and then few vehicles are deployed in Chennai region. I'll give a clear bifurcation Excel report after this call with Rohan, and then we'll be sharing it further with you.
So which means the numbers are less than 100 for each city. You call it metro, whatever. Can I take it that way?
Yes, absolutely. Because the just like I've told earlier, right? Like before any city starts up for us, we want to do the R&D on that particular city in terms of what is the demand, distribution, usage, utility, people, the infrastructure around it. So that understanding will be going through. And Mumbai, Pune, we have done the homework already for like 2 years long. So now for us to kickstart in those cities, it's very much easy. The plan itself to start Bangalore or Mumbai or Pune or Chennai, these four cities, we have order books right now anywhere around 4,000 to 5,000 numbers. So the numbers deployment would go significantly higher in that particular cities. Vijayawada, Vizag, and Guntur, these are like the tier 2 cities. We are now trying not just the testing the metros of the world, but then also tier 2, tier 3 rurals. What is a penetration that we can go? That's the thing we're doing at the moment.
Okay, and I understand. Your customers are the drivers, right? You sign up an MOU with the e-commerce companies, or you look for drivers who come on board. So how is your marketing works? Because the driver segment is very unorganized, right? So there is no defined marketplace for you to say, hey, somebody has like that. There are some driver apps. So you sign up with them, or can you please elaborate?
Yes. So what we do is we go partner with the companies of e-commerce, hyperlocal, quick commerce companies like Zomato, Swiggy, Zepto, Amazon, Flipkarts, the Blinkits of the world, right? So we do have partnerships with all of them. With a couple of them, we have pan-India contracts already executed, nationwide contracts, and that's where we are able to scale smoother in all of these journeys. Now we are also targeting into the healthcare segment where people are doing the lab test, phlebotomist, and all these guys we're tying up with. One of the pilot that we started with the Century Hospitals, KIMS Hospitals, and Apollo here in Hyderabad. And the same, all of them have the major presence in major metro cities across India, right? So we go partner with the companies like this. They give the delivery partners, they give the people, the end, it's not delivery boy only, the term that we generally use is delivery boy, but then it's the end person, the driver who is using this vehicle will be given from the companies like this.
Okay, which means you only onboard companies. So my concern, I would say here is this landscape. There are a lot of players you should be knowing coming in, startups, the same market. So and all of them are going to reach the same customer or a prospect. So how you intend to balance? How yours is going to be a unique proposition for those prospects to choose your organization.
Right. So Selva, if you look at it, let's bifurcate this into 3 different points, right? 1 is a fleet operator, 2 is the business itself, and 3 is the supplier, which like us who are coming into the market, right? For the first person who is giving the fleet, his only intent is how do I create utilization and uptime of the fleet, right? Which comes on a service angle. And if you look at the business side, what is business looking at today? Reducing my cost of delivery and also trying to be part of that ESG norms and get myself more into the zero carbon emissions game. And the third one is the players like us who are trying to push. What is the unique proposition that we can give other than the leasing? Because if it is leasing, the B2B player himself can go get the financing and then get the vehicles up and running for himself. But then, is there any player who is able to give 95% uptime of the vehicles? That means 87.5 days, the vehicle is going to be up, running, utilized by them, irrespective, their vehicles are not, their operations are not going to be hampered, irrespective, right? That is the edge that we're creating from the competition that we have today. We can take the names of all the 57, 58 people who are running or the newer startups that are emerging in the segment, but the uptime guarantee and the satisfaction index is something that we think are the differentiating factor. That's a mode that we carry today, right? And I'm not saying we are the only people who will be able to do it, but we are among that 1 to 10 people in the country who are able to do it.
Okay, so you find a prospect, and how much time it actually takes to close an engagement, the
Sure.
sales cycle?
So today, one of the biggest micro mobility provider or the fleet operator is taking 45 days period for them to go live from the day they close the conversation to close the conversation in terms of documentation to go live. We have cut it down to almost 16 days today. Within 16 days, any B2B engagement, we are going live.
Okay. So 15 days, I can take it as 15 days.
15 days, yes,
So what is your current pipeline, like 50 prospects or 100 prospects you're
Sure.
currently working with?
For Chennai, we have a demand center coming from Zepto, BigBasket, and Zomato. For these three, we have a nationwide contract. And for Chennai alone, we have 1075 number of vehicles, 1075 number of vehicles. For Bangalore, we have anywhere around 850 to 900 odd vehicles. Mumbai, Pune combined together is coming to 1000 number of vehicles. At any given point of a time today, if I have a leasing entity or the financial wing that is coming and saying, hey, Shrikant, I'll give you 3000 vehicles, I'm up to take that vehicles, right? If you look at it, that particular piece also we have sorted out in terms of, Client Finance is one of them, Grip Invest is one of them, Electrify, there are private investors who are happy to invest, like bankers who are pretty much interested to give the funds. So all these particular pieces have been sorted. It is all about, if I have to take it or not, to also look at the health of the company, like debt to equity ratios and everything. So that's where we are trying to be like little calm, also raise little equity side of it rather than just going and pushing the vehicles.
Okay. Again, I mean, same question, I rephrase it. In a month, from your experience, how many prospects you convert? And ideally, how many vehicles or drivers?
Right. So today,
Next financial year, let's say.
Go ahead, Selva, sorry.
From April, I mean, the next financial year in India starts from April. So for Q1, April, May, and June, if you break it, like how many conversions you are anticipating with respect to customers?
Next financial year, our target is to grow the revenues from 9.2 to 27 crores minimum, Selva, right? That's a bottom line I'm talking about, not the top line, right? So for the bottom line, I should be having anywhere around 5,200 active vehicles running on the road. Those are not the total fleet, active fleet that is running on the road. For me, what we look at is anywhere around 400 to 450 number of new deployment has to go into the market, which is net deployment, because every month there will be outs and ins. So net deployments have to go at 450 numbers.
Okay. And contract period?
Will be 11 months.
11 months. And what is the risk like? How you mitigate the risk? Because as I said, so many players are in the market.
Yeah.
So they can always switch. So what is your business continuity process? What if they don't extend the contract after 11 months? There is a possibility of revenue dipping, correct? I'm just speculating.
Yeah. Only way that will happen in the B2B contract is, Selva, every one of us know, is if the quality of service goes down or the price of the product is cheaper from the other vendor, right? Because I've already run it for 11 months and my contracts with any of the financial institution is for 24 months, or any of the leasing entities would be 24 months. I'll still be able to give it at a discounted price and still stick it with the customer. So the risk of losing a customer is going to be cut it down because I already ran it for 11 months. And at the same time, quality of service is something that is the mode that we've already created in terms of 95% uptime is what something we're guaranteeing. So irrespective of how the businesses are running, like the only way we can look at is someone offering at cheaper cost, someone is offering at a better quality of service. Both of them we're tackling our side.
Okay. My last question: are you open for white labeling? To implement the same model in emerging economy, for example, like Africa.
Yeah.
Because I'm into that business. I run a design engineering house, so there are a lot of two-wheelers work in progress with respect to development.
Sure, Selva. In fact, if you look, I did not put this forward earlier. Earlier, we were closely working with Spiro before they launched their Pune center of innovation, right? We were intending to go into the African market, but then for the African market, there is a lot of juggle that we have to do, but we are very much happy to white label, give them the vehicle, battery, swapping station, the entire technology stack white labeled and given it to them, where they provide it per asset basis to us.
Okay.
We are absolutely open for it because that's the way to see if I have to go global.
Okay, what if we need only the software stack?
We can
And
still,
rest of the things comes from other players of the particular partner's choice. You're open for that as well.
yes, we are absolutely open for that. That's
You're
why
open. You're
if
open to do a pilot sometime in the month of July.
100%. I mean, if it is just the software, we can start it off any given point of a time.
No, along with the vehicle. Along with the vehicle.
Along with the vehicle, African market is more of a motorcycle thing. So we still have a couple of OEMs who are doing the motorcycles with a better ranges, like 72 volts and 55 Ah battery packs as well, which will fit into the African markets. We can 100% aim at starting the pilots. That should not be a challenge.
So you're open to sign an MOU with such emerging startups which has competing products.
100% Selva.
Okay.
Selva, I'll connect you guys offline.
Okay. I'm done. I'm done with my last question. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Selva.
Now I'll quickly allow Akshay to unmute. Akshay had also asked to be unmuted. So yeah, go ahead, Akshay.
Hi, Rohan. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, good morning, and first of all, congratulations, Srikanth. So my question would be more focused upon the heavy vehicles fleet management section, which India is looking into for decarbonization, and there's a serious top-down pressure from the government also. So you're ideally placed where you have sufficient data to, extend your solution into the heavy fleet management solution sector also, and even mainly the city corporations and heavy fleet operators are looking into the solution providers for battery management system, and also increasing their uptime and having their uptime at a required percentage. So how do you think about this sector and your solution extending into this sector, and when do you plan to expand into this sector? Yeah.
Thanks, Akshay. You echo exactly what we are doing at one point of a time in the whole vision statement, right? We
Yeah.
are today working with the government of Telangana under the leadership of Mr. Jayesh Ranjan IAS. They are already working on a very small pilot for trucking for the last mile connectivity, trucking for the mid mile connectivity and first mile connectivity here in Telangana state. So we are actively involved in the discussions with them on how do we utilize these kind of platforms. How do we be playing a crucial role in terms of creating a connected ecosystem for them. So as I said, we were already talking with Switch Mobility, we are talking with Olectra in terms of helping them get the more deeper insights about the battery analytics and then getting the charging zones and everything. So we are absolutely open for it, as it is very nascent at this point of a time. I'll not be saying I have this, but the active conversations are going on with every such player.
Yeah, Shrikant, that answers the question. But when do you anticipate the first commercialization of your solution in this sector? So just a rough timeline would.
Anytime, we can. Right now, our concentration is on the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, right? So that's where this financial year or the mid next financial year also will not be able to do it. But only once the mass productions happen, like say, companies like eWage, companies like Switch, companies like Olectra, or people like Merck are also the Bharat Benz are also coming into the picture. So Ashok Leyland also. So once the mass production enables into the market, we'll be able to do maybe down the lane 2.5 years. It's just a matter of time for them to roll out on the market in bulk.
So your main plan is to tie up with the OEMs rather than not with the individual fleet operators like the transportation companies.
Like the GTM is OEM, right?
Okay.
But over the period of time, once the individual players start buying out the vehicles, absolutely happy to go tie up with them, just like the wheel size strategy.
Okay. Yeah. That answers the question. Thank you, Shrikant.
Thank you, Akshay.
Cool. We'll head back and take a last few questions from the chat and then we'll wrap up. So Atif is asking, any non-Indian company does similar business? If yes, what learnings do you have from them?
Sure. Atif, thank you for asking that question. In fact, one of the non-Indian company that was working is the product that I built abroad itself, where 228 service providers are integrated onto single application called Chippy, where you just need to enter your destination and all your route is being created. the thing is, the market in the European US markets are saturated. Everyone has got certain restrictions. The government says, like, you as a fleet operator, you can't have more than so much number of fleet. Say example, Car2Go is there. Car2Go has got strengths to deploy almost 30-40,000 fleet also. But the governments have regulated them in such a way, as a fleet operator, you can't go below 2,000, beyond 2,000 numbers in each city. So I think those kind of regulatory aspects is what something that will come to India. And, that is where the discipline in terms of equal distribution and level playing will happen in India as well in the mobility segment, that too specifically for the shared mobility segment. So that is something that I've learned with while building Chippy app in Madrid region.
Got it. Next question is by Manoj. Are you also open to take EV vehicle 2, 3, and 4-wheeler attachments from small startup companies, or only through big established players like Mercedes, Mahindra, Maruti, etc.?
We are absolutely open to collaborate with anyone because we are trying to create an ecosystem, not a competitive platform here, right? So as long as someone meets the SLAs of 95% uptime guaranteed, enough supply chain of spares and inventory provided to us, we will be partnering with anyone who will be able to, whose fleet will be suitable for the end customers that we're targeting. So there is no such bifurcation as Mercedes or established players only. In fact, the established players would have a longer chain of process, which would hamper the uptime process and everything. And the smaller startups or smaller new age companies are only able to give us right service on the time than the bigger players.
Got it. Next question is by Viplav. What's your current fleet split between B2B and B2C, etc.? And what are your major customers? I think you covered that, right? 40, 40, and 20, I think.
20%, yes.
Cool. Do you want to quickly cover who are the major customers?
For the B2B segment, major customers are the Big Basket, Amazon, Flipkart, Zipto, Zomato, Swiggy, Shadowfax. And right now we are in talks with the DHL deliveries for their delivery segment. That's a different set of fleet that we are doing right now. And for B2C, again, it's a B2B2C arrangement. 90% of our B2C business comes from word of mouth referrals, right? Even though we are costlier, that comes to the B2C referral. Else it is a B2C channels where all of these B2B players roll out leads to us. Third-party logistics, again, one of the few of the companies that are tied up with the big baskets of the world, they will utilize the fleet from us.
Good. Next question is by Pawan. Any dream of bringing IPO?
100% Pavan, that's the aim for any founder, going and hitting the bell there. Down the lane, 8 to 10 years, that is the plan where we should be looking at the IPO only. And that's where one of the, the investors who asked me right now, when can I have an exit? I would rather prefer investors who are coming right now to stick with us in this beautiful journey to be there till the IPOs.
Got it.
Yes, we are all full-time into this day budget. Me, Snehit and Anand, we work 24/7 with the organization. There is no other secondary with us.
Cool. Next is by Atif. If you have to explain your business and how you make your money, what risks could derail this business, and why should one invest money in your startup if you're explaining this to my 10-year-old daughter?
Right. Today,
That one.
yeah. So today, if any one of us are looking towards going and moving into a transit electric vehicle movement, we have a lot of nitty-gritties, right? The problem statements that we have in terms of charging, swapping, servicing on the ground. And to reduce this downtime, what we try to do is bringing the entire ecosystem under one hood. And we try to make commission out of any transaction. A customer pays X amount, the actual owner takes Y amount, X minus Y is what we make money. And so the risks of losing money here is lesser in terms of I'm not investing into asset, I'm not investing into the infrastructure. I'm trying to collaborate with them. So for me, my investment would have gone into marketing, but then right now, because of the markets and everything, I'm able to make that money. So rather than burning the money, we are actually making money from the day one itself. And so the risk involved here in losing the money is lesser. Although I would not be blunt and give false promises here. There will be instances, the downturns, but then as we learned from 3.5 years now, in terms of how to reduce it down to asset light, capital light, and just being a platform, a mediator will always make a money. And that's where the platform is what built for.
Got it. I think last couple of quick questions. Viplav is saying, who is selecting the vehicles? You are the customer, and in your fleet, which brands do you have?
So Viplav, the vehicles are being selected by the customers after giving them a catalog of the total fleet that we have, total types of vehicles that we have, and they are the ones who choose the end vehicle given the feature set and everything. But we curate them in such a way that if you're quick commerce, this is the particular models that will work. If you're e-commerce, this is what it will work. If you're a normal commuter, these are something that will work for. And in our fleet, we have 13 different manufacturers fleet coming in, but then we have jotted down to 3 manufacturers today. And these 3 manufacturers would have different combinations, swapping, charging, fixed, rapid, all of them combined.
Got it. Prashant is asking the next question. I think he's a bit confused. So, are you raising bridge round or series A? Because you have mentioned 100 crore in bridge round in your presentation. So, 100 crore is the valuation of the bridge round, Prashant, and they're raising the bridge round, which is also called pre-series A round. Yeah, I think we've answered. There was a question by Ajay, but I don't see Ajay on the call anymore. So, I think we've answered all the questions. So, if anyone has any final question, uh, do raise your hand. We'll allow you to unmute and clarify, before we wrap up. I have shared the link of the deck and the startup again in the chat, where you can quickly go through more details. And also, if you wish to invest, you can enter your investment intent there. So Manoj is saying, can I buy EV vehicles and get them attached to your company for fleet on revenue sharing model? If so, can I have a data on approx how many vehicles are needed, city or sector wise?
Sure. We are absolutely open for those arrangements as well, Manoj, where the investors or the entities would buy assets in bulk and attach it to the Hala's platform. Hala's platform would run, operate, and then provide you the insights about it, give you access to the platform and everything as such in terms of knowing where the vehicles are moving and everything. I will be able to share you the data by city, sector, earning potential, and the investment that can go through into each of this.
Cool. With that, I think we've taken all the questions, Shrikant. So thanks a lot for taking the time to pitch to us. Truly impressive pitch. And yeah, we believe you are on the path to build something great. And yeah, thanks all of you to take time out on a Saturday during a long weekend to join the call. And yeah, I'll be sharing the recording and other details with you on the various modes we are connected in. So yeah, thank you everyone, and thanks Shrikant.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Looking forward.